Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Samara Curtiss. If you're new, thank you for stopping by, and if you're returning, I'm so glad you decided to come back. First, I want to remind you guys, if you haven't already, to subscribe and like so you can stay in the loop of everything I have going on and whenever I post. And secondly, I decided to switch it up this week. Instead of doing my typical vlog of a day in my life, weekend in my life, I decided to get to know Samara Curtiss video. So if you want to get to know me a little bit better, instead of assuming you know who I am from Instagram and the pictures I post, stay tuned because we're about to get a little bit deeper. Okay, so let's get right into it. I'm Samara Curtiss. I'm 27 years old and I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. In case no one has ever heard of Harrisburg, it's actually the capital of Pennsylvania. The capital is not Pittsburgh, the capital is not Philly, it's Harrisburg 717, born and raised, but currently I reside in Maryland. So, growing up, I grew up in a two-parent household. My parents actually just recently celebrated 27 years of marriage, which I think is a beautiful thing, being able to see Black love, love in general, a marriage last that long, and just seeing how powerful my parents have become over the years of being able to open businesses together and help other people, and all of that is possible because they stayed married. They made their marriage work. So I just want to give a shout out to my parents because I love being a part of that and seeing their relationship grow and thrive. So like I said, growing up, my life very structured. My parents had us on a very thought out and planned regiment as we grew up, from the age of like 4 to high school graduation. Like, they knew what they had us in. So they had us in dance, which consists of jazz, tap, ballet, hip hop, modern, African, and liturgical. Liturgical is basically like dancing in church. We cheered all the way from elementary school up to high school, and I took my cheering to college on a competitive level. They also had us in gymnastics, which is the main thing. We were in gymnastics probably from the age of like 5 to right before I turned 16. We were on a competitive gymnastics team, which does not mean like a mommy and me class or just doing a couple cartwheels in the hallway. We were in the gym 5 to 6 days a week for like 4 hours, 5 hours a day. Like, it was serious Olympic bound type training. And our coach was a Russian who was basically a drill sergeant to us. Like, it was crazy how much time we were in the gym. And to this day, I swear my mom and my dad were going to ship my sister and I off to one of those USA Olympic training facilities, like out in Kansas, for us to be with a foster family to be competing in Olympic trials. Like, that's honestly how crazy our gymnastics schedule was. Like, we were Olympic bound. And with that being said, my parents also created a little dance group for my sister and I called the Fantastic Gym Dancing Joy Sisters. Like, we were legit performers. Like, if America's Got Talent was around then, we would have gotten the golden buzzer and probably taken home the prize. Like, that's how much performing we were doing and how good. Like, we not only performed in our city at different events and at different events, not only our state, not only the United States, but we got flew out to the Bahamas to perform during their Junkanoo celebration and their Christmas celebration 2 years in a row. And to me, like, at the age of 12, like, we were literally like the Jackson 5. We called our mom Joe Jackson, like, behind closed doors, my sister and I. So once we kind of like fizzled out of that whole competitive, competing, performing phase, it was around high school. So my sister actually decided to get homeschooled because she figured that would work best for her. Me on the other hand, I was a social butterfly, and I was like, I want to be in school, like, I want to be around my friends. And growing up in a predominantly Jewish neighborhood and community / township, like, I had a lot of Jewish / white friends, which meant I attended a lot of bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, Passover dinners, Hanukkah celebrations. I've eaten in a sukkah. I think I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. It's like a structure that they built and they eat and celebrate the holidays, and it's just a beautiful thing. But I'm definitely appreciative of like being able to experience different cultures, different types of celebration, rather than the typical like Christmas, Kwanzaa, like stuff like that. That's just like the average like holidays that you celebrate. I had like a very different outlook on life after being able to celebrate different Jewish holidays with my friends and the people who were my neighbors. So growing up in high school is when I kind of found myself, and around that time my parents actually lost their job when they were working for the city of Harrisburg School District at the vocational school, and it was just a hard time because it was around the time where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for college, and college means money, which at the time it was like, okay, with all the scholarships and grants you have to go to PA school because it'll basically be fully covered. So in high school, I decided I want to go to an HBCU. At the time, my brother Terrell was attending Morgan State University in Maryland, and my sister had already graduated. My sister Sheena had graduated from Temple in Philadelphia. So she was actually a cheerleader at Temple, and my brother was attending Morgan State, which is the HBCU. So I was like, I need both of those worlds somehow combined. When I found out at the time his girlfriend was a cheerleader at Morgan, I was like, bingo. Like, I want to go figure out their whole cheerleading program, what they have to offer. And we were able to go on a tour, and I found out that Morgan State had a cheer program and a cheer scholarship. Shout out to Coach Gibson and Coach Watkins, because they definitely held me down my whole time in college, like making sure I stayed on track and didn't lose my scholarship, because if I lost that scholarship, that Morgan State dream would be gone. So after I figured out they had a cheer scholarship, I was like, okay, I'm applying. I'm going to apply to as many scholarships that I can. And some of those scholarships literally like were not for me. I applied to so many like Jewish scholarships because other people were not applying. They still gave me the money. Like, that's the secret with scholarships. Like, apply to as many as you can, and you still have a possibility of getting those funds. Like, trust me, like, majority of my scholarships, I did not fit the criteria, but because I was probably one of few who applied, they still gave me the money. Those scholarships were actually like reoccurring scholarships. So I only had to apply once, and it applied to all 4 years while I was in school. That was a blessing. So I applied to college. I get accepted to Morgan State University, which is an HBCU, and I try for the cheerleading team, and I get on the cheerleading team, and I get a scholarship. So while I'm at Morgan, I'm trying to really figure out like, who is Samara? I've been on such a structured plan for so long. Like, I saw my sister who knew what she wanted to do right out the gate and started taking cosmetology classes from my mom, and they were in the process of opening their beauty school, and it was just so much going on that I kind of had to like take a step back and do things on my own. So while I'm at school, I actually became a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, the Alpha Gamma chapter, in 2011. So while I was in school, I decided to move off campus my junior year, and with that being said, you need money to move off campus. So I had found a job at a strip club. I was a bartender, and I was working there, making great money, long nights, early mornings, and I would basically leave work at like 4 o'clock in the morning and be right back up at 8 for class. So I'm finding myself at Morgan State, and I'm working, but something happened where I was fired. And basically, karma's a bitch, because the person who was the messenger of me being fired ended up being the shady individual who was doing shady things, and they ended up getting fired. But during the time of me no longer being at Norma's, I was working at Nordstrom, because my best friend Jamise actually kind of put the bug in my ear, like, hey, you should get another job. Nordstrom's is hiring for seasonal, and I think it would be good for you. Retail is not my thing. I cannot force someone to buy an item. Like, retail, no. It works for some people. Me personally, I cannot do retail. And I learned that while working at Nordstrom. Like, I had a great time working there. I made great friends, made great money, had a great experience, but I know retail is not for me. So after Nordstrom's, I was able to get a job at another bar in DC, because my friend Alicia, who worked at Norma's with me, transitioned to DC at that bar, and I worked there for a little, very shy of 2 years. And after that, I was like, okay, I need to get out of this environment. Like, I don't want to work nightlife anymore. It was taking a toll on my body. Like, the late nights, it was just something that was not working for me anymore. So I ended up finding a job at a spa. Mind you, my parents had already opened up their beauty school. They opened up the first all-black owned beauty school that offered all of the programs that the State Board of Cosmetology in Pennsylvania offered, which was a beautiful thing. And I was able to get my esthetician license, which I'm basically I'm a skincare specialist. I do everything skincare, like facials, brows, lashes, waxing, all of that falls under aesthetics. And then the following year I went back and got my aesthetic teaching license. So I'm an aesthetic educator. So when I went to the spa, I gave them my resume, all of my different certifications, and they basically were like, okay, we'll hire you. And I was like, yes, I'm going to be doing aesthetic work, which I love skincare. They played me. They definitely put me at the bottom of the totem pole. They had me folding towels, cleaning rooms. I'm like, this is dead, because half the girls in here don't even have half of the skills that I have from being an educator, like, for over 5 years. So with that being said, I was transitioning out of the spa, and I was dabbling back at Norma Jeans, and I was working there at nighttime. But I was like, okay, I'm an adult now. I need to really get real money, like salary money. Like, Norma Jeans money is amazing, but I need salary money to where I can, like, buy a house, buy a car, like stuff like that. So I was able to find a job at a tech ed company, and we actually helped create some of the online master programs for some of the top universities in the nation, which is so cool. Like, I love helping people. I love my job. So I actually asked some of my followers on Instagram to send in some Q&As, and I picked a couple of them. So one question is, what is your weakness and strength? I would have to say my weakness is I have really bad anxiety. There's not like a lot of organization in what's going on. Like, if someone tells me to do something or go somewhere and it's just mayhem, my anxiety starts going through the roof. Another one of my weaknesses is I'm a big lover and I'm a people pleaser, which don't sound like negatives, but when you look at it, being a people pleaser means you want to make people happy. Having a big heart or a big lover means you want to make someone happy. And I need to learn how to stop biting my tongue, because clearly I can admit, like, I let people in the past walk over me and treat me certain ways because I wanted to always put them first and make them happy and not put myself first, which I've come to realize, like, always put yourself first. Do everything for you first and then do for others, especially if it's not being reciprocated. I would have to say my strength is I'm a hard worker. I'm very versatile, and I can adapt to whatever environment I may be in, and I pick up on things very easily. So if you tell me a task to do and I can see you do it, I'm a visual learner. If I see you do it, I pretty much can do it as well. Someone also asked, who's your favorite artist, like music-wise? I would have to say Wale. He is a wordplay, lyrical genius. That man is not a rapper, he's a poet. Like, ever since, like, so like 2009, he had a song called Shades, and he had a song called Diary. Like, anyone who truly knows Samara knows that, like, I'm Wale 100%. It's not his looks, it's not because he's a rapper and he has X, Y, and Z. Like, if you actually listen to all of his albums and his music, his wordplay and rhyming skills and poetry is, like, beyond what these other rappers are rapping about. Another question that I had was, have you truly found your purpose, and if so, how? I would say no. Only because my sister, who is a super successful cosmetologist, who is younger than me, she has 2 beauty salons, she owns an apartment complex, she also has other property that she rents out to people, and she has a daughter, and she's about to have her 2nd child. Like, she just has accomplished so much and so much in such little time. I'm like, damn, like, where did I go wrong? Should I have not have gone to college? Should I have taken the entrepreneurial route and been a cosmetologist? Like, where did I go wrong? But that's why I don't think I've, like, reached my full potential yet or found my purpose. But I know I'm in the process of reaching my purpose and finding out what it is, just over these past, like, 2 years of working where I am, and definitely, like, figuring out where I want to be in life. I would have to say, like, it's coming soon. So when I get that answer and I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. Someone else asked, what is your favorite food that you would have to eat for the rest of your life if you had to pick one? I would say conch salad. So conch is that big shell you see on, like, islands that people, like, put up to their ear and you can hear the ocean. There's actually, like, a meaty little creature that lives inside of there, and they crack the shell, they pull the creature out, they chop it up, they add, like, lime and lemon and tomatoes and all these other peppers and beautiful things, and it's like a little salad. And they also fry conch and have conch fritters, and it's something else they do with conch, but I'm more of, like, a conch salad girl. And that happened just from like taking numerous trips and like my parents having a home in the Bahamas. Like that's kind of like my go-to food when we go, because I love it so much. It's not like too heavy, it's not too light, and I love limes and lemons, so that's my little go-to food. I know this video was kind of like rushed and fast, like the overview of who Samara Curtiss is and my life growing up. It was very structured up until the time I got to college, where I got to find myself and make mistakes and learn from mistakes. But I hope you all enjoyed the video and got to get a little bit more information on who I am, other than just like what I post and all the videos and pictures that you guys see. So I just want to say, remember to subscribe and like, and be on the lookout for the next video. Bye everyone.